Okay, let's find yourself. Let's find yourself finishing your conversations. Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and recap. Okay, I'm putting on my recap there. We're going to recap big brain idea number 1. We know big brain idea is there is no comprehension without picture. Very good. One more time. There is no comprehension without picture. Very good. And do I have any volunteers? What did your group talk about? What did you guys get out of that section? Beth?
We're just putting pictures in our head, like kind of. You have to comprehend everything.
Okay. Good. All right. Well, that's great, guys. I'm glad we learned a lot there. I'd like to go ahead and move on to something else. Kind of a problem I've been having, and I think maybe you guys can help. I usually don't bring up this kind of stuff, but you know, I really think maybe you guys can help. I've been having a lot of trouble with my accessory naviculars, and I don't know. I really don't know what to do about it. I don't know. I don't know if you guys maybe have the same problems or not, but I've heard that they can really be a problem, especially if they're bilateral. Which I'm really afraid that maybe I do. I'm really afraid that my accessory naviculars are bilateral. And so what I'm wondering is there anybody in here that could maybe help me? I mean, who should I go see to help out with my bilateral accessory naviculars? Anybody? Jake, do you have any idea who I might be able to see? No idea? Do you think you pick somebody else? Pick somebody that thinks they might know. Ben, who do you think I should see?
Somebody who understands Latin.
Okay, somebody who understands Latin. Okay, all right, that's good. Anybody else have any ideas on? I just don't know what to do. A mathematician. Okay, a mathematician. Okay, maybe a mathematician that speaks Latin. Okay. Now, I'm seeing a lot of confused looks, and you guys were pretty timid about raising your hand. Why? Because you don't know what it is. All right, now, let me ask this question. How many of you guys, when I started talking about bilateral accessory naviculars, all right, be honest with me, how many of you guys just kind of totally tuned me out? Yeah, a few of you guys totally tuned me out. And the fact that I was moving around a little bit maybe kind of kept you in, but had I just been standing up here, you know, talking about bilateral accessory naviculars, you would have just totally tuned me out. Why? Because there's no comprehension. Why is there no comprehension?
There's no picture.
Yeah, there's no picture. We don't know what it looks like because we don't understand what it is. Now, there's probably a few of you guys in here that was trying to break it down because you're like, all right, bilateral. All right, bi meaning two, lateral meaning side by side. All right, and that's... You know, I appreciate that. You guys are trying to do that. You're trying to come up with what it means. But again, there's really no picture there as opposed to what this is. So let's talk about it. Let's put the picture in your head. Naviculars. Anybody know what naviculars are? Bones in your ankle. Okay. Now we know what naviculars are. That's helping us now, right? Because we know what bilateral means. Bi meaning two, lateral meaning side by side. Okay. What about accessory? Accessory is things that are extra, right? That's an accessory. So bilateral accessory naviculars are side by side, yeah. Extra bones in the ankle. Bilateral meaning side by side, right? I have two, okay? Now, how many of you guys know what doctor I should go see now? Yeah, some sort of bone doctor. At least you have an idea. Why? Because you guys all have a mental picture of an ankle in your head. You know what an ankle problem or a bone problem looks like. Okay? So again, that's helping you do that. Okay? Which brings us to big brain idea number 2. It brings us to what?
Big brain idea number 2.
Okay, that's good. Students make meaning by connecting to existing schema. Okay? Schema. What is it? Schema. I'm sorry, what is it?
Schema.
Schema. Schema is prior knowledge. Schema is something that you already knew before you walked in here today. All of that information, all that stuff that's in your head that you already knew before you walked in here today, that's schema. When you walk out of here today, you'll know more schema than what you did before you came in here. Okay? Again, there is no meaning without connecting to existing schema. Okay, do it with me here. There is students make meaning by connecting to existing schema. Okay, one more time. Students make meaning by connecting to existing schema. And that's what we were doing whenever I was telling you that story about my bilateral accessories naviculars. You guys had no idea what I was talking about until I gave you some prior schema. I let you know what I was talking about. Now, how often did that happen to you guys in the classroom? Teachers start talking about something and you don't know what you're talking about, and so what do? Turn it off. Well, now you're not even giving yourself an opportunity to learn that. Now, hopefully, and you'll find that a lot of times we'll try to pull, especially in this class, we'll try to pull from existing schema. A lot of times I'll try to come back and use something that we've done before. Great example, those of you guys that were in here before. Remember when we did graphing systems of equations? I gave you guys the whole lesson without even teaching. All I asked you to do was graph 2 lines. All I did was pull from your existing schema, asked you to do something you already knew how to do, didn't give you any directions, and actually taught the lesson without having to do anything. Then we came back and explained it, and you guys understood it incredibly. Why? Because we pulled from existing schema. Students make meaning by connecting to existing schema. Okay? Now, what I'd like for everybody to do is go ahead and stand up. What we're going to do now is we are going to talk about a huge educational fact. It's a what?
Huge educational
A huge educational fact. So we have to give it the proper acknowledgement by doing this, and so that's why we're going to stand. Okay? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All right. Students make meaning by connecting to existing schema. One more time. Students make meaning by connecting to existing schema. Okay? Turn to your neighbor and say, that's a huge educational fact.
That's a huge educational fact.
Okay. You guys may find yourselves setting back down. Thank you. Now, what we have to understand, though, is this. The schema that you have, it is more than just academic content. It's more than that. Your schema is everything that you've learned throughout your life. You know, I have a great rule of thumb that is, you know, it's okay to make a mistake, just don't make the same one twice, right? I mean, how many of you guys have came home later than what you were supposed to? How many of you guys learned your lesson? Don't raise your hand. Now, how many of you guys learned your lesson, though, right? Because you made the mistake, right? Then you put that back in your schema, and you at least knew the consequence of what was going to happen, right? You're learning from your existing schema, okay? So there's a lot more than just academic stuff. But what we have to understand is without that existing schema, that schema that we already have in our brain, there can be no higher order thinking. There can't be. There can't be that higher level thinking without the existing schema because we don't have all of the information. We don't have all of the pictures there in order to get to that level. We have to be able to get in deep, and that comes from that. Okay? What I'd like for you to do is talk to your neighbor, have a quick conversation, all right, about big brain idea number 2. All right? Come up with some ideas on maybe some of your past schema and go through that. And what we'll do is we'll find ourselves back here in about 32.5 seconds. Go.